Hey guys, how are you doing? I know this is new. You're probably like, what is this about? I just thought I would get on here and share a few of my thoughts. But I thought about my journey this year and also about this thing that I feel like this process you could say I've been on since about 2015. And ultimately, I think this year has been a challenge because it's been a year of having to trust what God has said about me in his word and trust who he says I am above what I've wanted to be called by my peers, by people that in authority over me, people I value. But I had some thoughts that I thought I would share with you, and I thought it would be best to communicate it by a short, well-meaning podcasty thing. So here goes nothing. So from about the age of, let's say, 7 or 8, I am the last born of 3 children, and my parents put me in private school during my primary school years. I went to a private school, and I was always kind of the average student. You know, I wouldn't have said I was never top of the class, but I was never at the bottom of the class. I did just about enough to stay afloat and nothing more, nothing less. I saw doing well in school as a way of gaining validation that I didn't already have from my parents, which is another conversation on its own. But something, I was having a conversation with my dad the other day, and he pointed out to me, he always said, you know, with my eldest sister, you know, when they were teaching and tutoring her in maths for her 11 plus, for her exams, you know, if she got something wrong, they would punish her or beat her or discipline her, and then the next time she wouldn't get it wrong. And whereas with me, they would ask me to do a maths problem or something like that. And if they asked me, are you sure? He said, you know, if we asked you if you were sure, you would already start rubbing out what you had written down. And so we realized from a very young age that we couldn't beat you to get things fast. You were going to go at your own pace. And this really struck a chord with me because I thought that is so interesting. From a young age, my dad probably wouldn't articulate it in this way, but from a young age, I lacked confidence in what I thought, which is why oftentimes I would rub out even the right answers. And just a little bit of backstory, I think I didn't start liking maths until GCSE level, until I had this amazing teacher, Auntie Fola Mosaku, shout out to you. She was amazing, and she just, I don't know, my mind changed towards maths after tutoring with her because I didn't feel pressure to get things right. She just wanted me to understand, and I think that's kind of always how I've been. So anyway, back to the story. When my dad said this to me, I really had a good think about it, and I thought, wow. So from a young age, even before I even knew that it was an insecurity or a weakness or an issue, I wasn't confident in what I thought, and I wasn't confident either because I didn't understand or because I couldn't. I didn't feel like I was right. Something in me didn't have confidence with what I was with whatever question I was dealing with, etc. And when I sat down to think about it, I could see how this was almost something that followed me throughout my teens, into university, even past university, into this whole adulting life. And it kind of made me a bit sad because I couldn't understand why I just lacked confidence from such a young age. And, you know, I was speaking to God about this, and something he just made known to me is that, you know, the jewelry piece, a ring or a set of earrings or the necklace, the diamond does not tell the jeweler, this is my value. The diamond is evaluated and the jeweler decides what value the diamond has. And what he began to bring to my attention and bring to my remembrance was the fact that, you know, for much of my life, I have been waiting for men, friends, men as in general, men and women, for men to affirm me, for friends to affirm me, for my parents to affirm me, for teachers and leaders to affirm me, for everyone to almost stop and decide Laulu is worthy, Laulu has value, Laulu is this or that. And much of my disappointment when I was younger was what came from the absence of that. You know, I felt like I needed it and I wasn't getting it. And even till today, I think that I sometimes leave the power of my value in the wrong hands, and oftentimes wait for that thing to be affirmed in me before I feel confident in what it is that I feel like God has put in me, etc. And what I've discovered is that, and what I'm learning ultimately is that, you know, God's word in Isaiah 55, God speaks, I think from verse 8 to about 11. God is speaking about his word and its impact. And he says, you know, my word is like snow that falls on the ground. It does not return. It waters the ground, and in essence, his word does not return back to him void. It does not return back to him unaccomplished. And what I really came to understand was the fact that I exist because God decided to speak a word over me. He said, this issue needs this solution, so I'm going to create a Laulu to in essence solve this problem in the earth, whatever it is. And even for you, you know, God has made you as a solution. He's created you with purpose. And what he says over you, he's expecting a return on that when you stand before him. It means that I can't wait for men's approval and affirmation of me. And this is huge because God has shown me in absence of it, is that, do you know what? The most important opinion is the opinion of the jeweler, the person who valued me, who created me. His opinion and his word over me is weightier than anything else anyone else could say. But my encouragement to you today is to remember that we can't wait for men to affirm us, for us to know that we have value, that we're special, that we're worthy of love, that we're worthy of good things in life, that we should have those things. You know, Christ's blood was spilt so that he could put a priceless tag on you and me. And so I just want to remind you of that today and encourage you. And if you think that this was interesting enough, like and share and let me know your thoughts. And obviously this is like a very bite-sized version of a much bigger conversation about self-worth and value. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this, and take care of yourselves, and remember that Christ has paid your full price with his blood, which was priceless. Take care.